Hey everyone, welcome to today's tasting. I hope you're feeling a bit experimental because we have something new and exciting for you. Now, if I were to tell you we're going to take your grandmother's traditional recipe secrets and shake them up a bit, you may think, no, that's sacrilegious. Probably your grandmother would too. But what would happen if you invited her to mentor and guide you through some of your fun and interesting ideas? You may end up with something greater than you ever imagined on your own. Most likely, she'd still like hers better because, well, that's grandmother's. But you see what I'm getting at. This is the idea behind Method and Madness, a new kind of Irish whiskey just making landfall here in the US. The masters behind the world's largest pot still at the Jameson Distillery in Middleton pair up with the young up-and-comers in distilling to create something, well, extraordinary. So hold on to your hat, Grandma, because today we're taking the train off the tracks. Let's go. Sorry, Grandma. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you
How are
doing?
you? Good.
Well, yeah, you're doing good. You're going to do even better in a few minutes. I can tell you that. Hello, everyone here looking at us. I'm very lucky to be joined by some amazing people here today. All the way from Ireland, we have Eva O'Doherty, who is the brilliant, innovative, inventive, creative distiller at the Middleton Micro Distillery in Cork, where Method and Madness is produced. She's better known as the Madness behind the brand. Welcome, Eva. Thank you for making it all the way here.
No, thank you, Flavien. I'm delighted to be here today with you guys as well to show you and showcase our Method and Madness brand.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And trending even more than the Irish whiskey category, my next guest and the dynamic father-son duo behind the viral TikTok account, Johnny Drinks. Please meet John Rondy and John Rondy Jr.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah.
Well, before we get tasting, I'm curious how one becomes a social media sensation. I'm just asking for a friend, you know. How did Johnny Drinks begin?
I guess our story is a bit unique in that we didn't plan for any of this, right? Like my dad was making a cocktail one night, looked really, really cool. I took out my phone and said, you know what, let me try to make a TikTok. And so that's what we did. Put my phone away at dinner that night and blew up on us that day. So right before quarantine, we then were sort of locked up in the house, had nothing else to do. So we decided to just keep making cocktails.
That sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds like a
Lot of
cool
fun.
journey to take
Lot of
together,
fun.
as father
Yeah.
and son.
Yep.
Now, Method and Madness. What about the name altogether, Miss Madness?
Thank you.
Come
Yeah.
on.
So, Method and Madness is born of the ethos of the micro distillery that we have in Middleton, back in Cork, in Ireland. And the whole reason that we have the micro distillery is for like innovation, education, and experimentation. So the distillery is totally manually operated, so there's no automation whatsoever. And the whole idea behind Method and Madness is it merges, say, the method, so the tradition that you have and the heritage from the likes of our past master distillers, even John Jameson, the first, second, and third, using their handwritten diaries, ledgers, and notebooks, and using that knowledge, and then it gets merged with, say, the madness of myself and other apprentice distillers, and we come up with these weird and wacky ideas with that tradition that we have. And it's a really exciting brand as well, because it's very cutting edge. There's so much in it.
Personally, I'm in love with the single pot still
Yes. It's a good
subcategory
one.
of
Yeah.
Irish whiskey. So I suggest that we get started because enough talking already.
Perfect.
Why don't we crack this one open? Now, pot still. Why is it always so easy to love?
That's it. This is a very good one to start with, I'm not gonna lie. So, just a bit about it. Single pot still is basically a mash bill, so a cereal of malted and unmalted barley that has been triple distilled in copper pot stills. That's how we do it in Ireland. So this distillate here spent its life in American bourbon barrels, and then it was finished as well in a French chestnut. So you'll get a lovely sweetness that comes through here in this whiskey. And you'll even notice the colour as well of this distillate. It's a lovely rich colour. So that just shows you the influence that this wood has on the whiskey itself. Sláinte,
Yeah, no,
everyone.
come on, we need to taste this.
So sláinte.
What notes that hit for you?
Solid but soft.
That's it.
Wow.
Even on the nose, you get a lovely like sweetness that carries over.
And a hint of spice too.
That is a characteristic that you'll get no matter in what pot still. But it has a huge big punch there towards the end.
Yeah,
It's
it does.
incredible.
It absolutely does.
That's a lovely, really lovely drum. I'm actually always excited to see when chestnut is used because it's close to oak. But in America, we've been deprived of chestnut oak.
Yeah.
because this is a tree that has just died off. So I think this is quite successful. It's both easy and substantial, right? So for me, it works. Method and Madness single grain Irish whiskey.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
why single grain on its own?
That's it. Well, with Method Madness, we're always like, why not? So yeah, you're right. Like a single malt you will typically have in a blend, whereas this here, we have it by itself. And the difference here is it is distilled in column still. A column still is a continuous process. So it's different towards a pot still because pot still is batch. So this as well spent its life in a mixture of ex-American bourbon barrels again. And you can get that almost coming through on the distillate.
It's much softer.
It's more delicate. A grain distillate would be much lighter. It's really exciting that we can push those boundaries and really influence the distillate itself.
Oh.
So just to nose, to me, I get lovely, almost like toasted notes of wood coming through.
Like mahogany.
Mahogany, yeah, it's correct. So
I knew it.
this was finished in virgin Spanish oak casks.
This is quite inviting. I mean, I think we should.
Let's get stuck in. Sláinte again, guys.
Slanch.
I already did. Yeah. That stayed on the front of my mouth. Not quite as, again, very different. Softer
it's-
and a different taste in so many respects. So
Yeah, it's a lot lighter. It's more like a floral note. There's so much within this brand, but there's something there for everyone because there's such diversity, which I love.
I think this might be a nice drink for someone who's new to whiskey.
Yeah,
You guys agree? You think
Absolutely.
Yeah.
definitely.
I think
Yeah.
Say so.
I think
As a
we're
novice
getting the
drinker.
Johnny
Yeah.
Drinks stamp of approval.
Oh, for
Right?
sure. Yeah.
They got there's the approval.
I mean, single grain, it's the the gateway to whiskey, right?
Yeah.
But this is a lot more than just an easy whiskey. So I'm curious to know what John has in mind there. Do you like it and why?
Yeah, so I guess the funny part of this page that we've built is I never liked dark liquor prior to this. So this would be a very good for somebody that doesn't necessarily like whiskey because it is a bit sweeter, so it's easier to drink.
And we haven't even tasted it with a cube or a drop, and you haven't even opened it up. So that in itself is going to give it a whole nother experience.
And since clearly everybody loves it, you should be loving it too. You can buy a bottle right there,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
so, all right, we agree, but should we agree that it can come with a big cube of ice and we'll all love it?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah,
so, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
We always recommend that if you really want to, you could add a drop to your distillate and it really opens
yeah.
it up because it will reduce down the ABV. If you're new to whiskey, if you wanted to pour yourself a glass, walk away and then come back to it, you'll always find that it changes over time. So there's always something there, something new that you'll always appreciate.
absolutely.
So
And our final bottle is a 14-year-old single malt. So you've got to explain this to me.
So a malt whiskey is a whiskey that is consisting of a mash bill of 100% malted barley. So again, it was triple distilled in copper pot stills and it spent 14 years of its life in ex-American bourbon barrels and then was finished for a period of 12 months in French oak.
I sort of need to understand. This company was not founded 14 years ago.
No.
So what's your secret? Come on.
So in Middleton, we actually are always thinking about innovation. So even though the micro distillery came about in 2015 was when it was built, in 2016 was when it was commissioned where we produce, when we started producing our distillate, we still had a warehouse full of exciting things that were maturing. It fit in perfectly into our Method Madness brand because it's really out there, it's a bit wacky, it really pushes those boundaries. So we thought this fit in perfectly for that reason. So that's the
I
reason
took
why
a
we
whiff
have it.
already. I couldn't wait. But
Yeah.
I want to hear from the two of you. What do you say about the nose?
Well, I was just gonna say you could tell it's strong. Like it's definitely more like a punch when I smell this thing. And I was gonna ask you the question, what should I be tasting as I go into this?
So because it's a malt, like I was previously mentioned, you get like lovely biscuity, almost wafery notes.
Yeah.
It's a lovely nose. Really engaging.
Smells great.
To a great inheritance.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
sláinte.
Sláinte. That's my kind of drink.
Yeah, same.
Wow, that's
Oh, I love that.
Wow, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
There's a lot. You're right.
There really is.
Caramel,
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I want to say
spicy, it's
vanilla or
stuffy.
cinnamon or something.
Yeah.
Too.
There's like a cinnamon, a bit of a heat, a spice to it as well. Because it comes from a micro distillery, it's very small batches. So quality is obviously at the front and the fore of everything that we produce here. It's something we're really proud of. So
Well, let me
It's
ask
well
you
worth it.
then. You're one of the few women, from what I understand, at the helm of this wonderful creation that is Method and Madness. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so I run the micro distillery in Middleton. So it's a female-led micro distillery, and we're always trying to think of the future and think of the brand and really trying to push those boundaries. It's been incredible, and it does really contradict the norm, but I like to see that things are really starting to be shaken up. I can see myself that there's a lot of female distillers coming out, which is really exciting as well. Yeah,
Congratulations to that.
thank you.
Congrats. I gotta tell you, if the whiskey is gonna taste this good every time, we want a lot more women at the helm of whiskey making in Ireland and everywhere else. So congratulations, that's
Thank you.
really amazing.
I'm glad he's enjoyed them.
Good stuff.
Very different whiskeys. I mean,
Yeah,
so
something there for everyone.
if you guys had to sort of sum it up, how would you? And is it even possible?
As the novice here, the initial taste is way different than the aftertaste. And so for me, it starts out with a kick, like wakes up a bit, but then the ending for all of them was like very, very smooth. And
Yeah.
just a really good experience.
You really don't need to try to put one next to another and stack one up and say, well, that one's the best. They're all delicious. Your palates are different. Enjoy them for what they are. That's the experience of what drinking one of these brown liquors is about.
John Jr., say you got to come up with a gift for, well, your dad, right here. Naturally, which one would you go for? The one with the clear age statement on?
Yes. I would go with that bottle only because I know he appreciates an aged whiskey. I would definitely pick that one over the other two.
I agree. I think it would make for an amazing gift.
Cheers to us. This was great. I'm not trying to wrap this up, but
Well, it's not. It's actually not over, Dad, and we have a bit of a surprise for you. So, thank God you liked this bottle because I, as your son, was trying to think of what I can get not only my dad but the dad of TikTok for Father's Day. So, I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
We have a little bit of a gift for you coming out here.
No peeking.
Close your eyes.
my eyes are closed.
All right. Open it up.
Oh.
So this is a cask filled.
No way.
Yep.
With that? 14-year?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. You all had something.
No, that's him.
This is.
Thank you, buddy.
This is
awesome.
we had to conceptualize what do we get you,
Oh my
on top
gosh.
of this for Father's Day. So this is
Oh, this is
got
awesome.
your name on it. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Thank you, pal.
So,
Can I-
hope you enjoy
can I
that.
Kiss you on TV.
I don't know.
Thank you, buddy. That's awesome.
Well, now I wonder what I'm gonna get for Father's Day. I guess that'll be a surprise. What are you gonna get your dad for Father's Day? Pressure's on you. What are you gonna do?
Of course, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna give him one of these bottles for Father's Day, of course.
He's gonna love it.
Probably the single pot still. I'm very biased, but I think that is my favorite one. I know he will enjoy that as well. I'd recommend that one.
Cool.
So out of three sisters, you're the favorite because you're the one bringing whiskey in the
Bringing
mix.
home the goods, yeah.
There you go. Now you know what to do. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Whiskey Wednesdays. I certainly did. And if you're still searching for the perfect gift to celebrate your dad, you don't need to venture to Ireland to get your hands on these bottles. Of course you can, but it's also right here. Yep. You can buy everything we've tasted today right here at Spirits Network. I want to wish all the great dads out there happy Father's Day and be well. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Eva.
Happy
Thank you, John.
Father's Day.
Thank you,
Yeah,
John.
Great. It was a great meeting.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.